take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do, so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move, so distinctive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patent it. Being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, getting so scared fast, off the ropes, I can gas, think I'm okay and last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness, hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious, mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior, inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior, get off with me, this ain't no humble brag, I want you to hear words, you can say them back, I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't let it consequence, something in the confidence. Mental health is confidence, dreams is a modestness. I'm not here to say the thing, that's for you to take away. I can play a million mind games, but instead of six, something not illogical, something not aesthetical. Rub it on and watch it go. Make yourself unstoppable, you're responsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off with my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the way I gotta make it. I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I never separated, just a vacant. My kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, welcome everybody. Happy Saturday. Hope y'all having a good weekend. Hope all is well with you. We're gonna pull up my chat real quick. My phone is dead, my other phone, so I was out on the lawnmower all day with the headphones on, and anyway, so I got no phone. So anyway, I'm just gonna have to rely on my laptop, I guess. So just give me a second. Well, hey, so I see a couple people in here already. We have Justin. Good evening to Justin Morris. Let's see. I can't see this very well. Kildigs. Good evening to Kildigs. Welcome. Florida, A Life in the Sun. Welcome. Oh, thank you, Justin. Justin gave me 200 jewels. I appreciate that, Justin. Thank you very much for the 200 jewels. Appreciate it. Let's see. Florida Life in the Sun. Let's see. Not My Monkeys. Happy Saturday. You are on time. Grace, welcome. Dear Jane, welcome. Good to see everybody. Alicia, welcome. Susan says so much. She is here. Everyone's saying hi to, excuse me, everyone's saying hi to everybody. Let me just hit this on here so I can see you guys on the big screen. All right, so welcome. Well, hey, Glades. Good to see Glades this evening. I trust it's probably evening everywhere. By early evening, let's see. Well, I guess it would be 3 a.m. in the UK or somewhere around there. So happy weekend, good morning, good evening, whatever the case may be. Glades says hi to everyone. Everyone's saying hi. So as you can see, I have not been on for a few days because I was working on those videos. I'm going to tell you, that first video took me 2 days, and the second one took me all day. So, those took a long time to do, and not just to do the video, plan the video, do the video, then edit the video, and the editing takes a long time, sometimes all day. Anyway, however it decides to do it that day, I guess. Vanita, good to see you tonight. Welcome. Yeah, so I am live from Minnesota. Don't you know? We got hot dish here. You betcha. You betcha we got the hot dish. A lot of Swedish or Norwegian people here and German people in Minnesota. Don't you know? Well, hey, Red Frog, good to see you tonight. Welcome. So, as you know, maybe you don't know, but I did do a couple videos, and I want to talk about the videos a little bit. Hold on a second. So, there was somebody mad because one person. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. So there was one person that was said I had it all wrong. It's Eric's fault. It's Eric's fault, not Patrick's. It's Eric's. But when I do a video on Eric, I will always get someone that said, it's not Eric's fault, it's Patrick's. Well, guess what? It's both of them, okay? It's both of them. And I'm going to tell you, I always watch those true crimes. I've watched them my whole life, basically. For as long as they've had them, anyway. Your father was born in Minnesota? His parents came from Holland? Oh, yeah. That's what we have here. Swedish, Norwegian, and Germans. That's Minnesota. A lot of Andersons. A lot of people named Sven. A lot of blonde people. There's a lot of blondes in Minnesota. But yeah. In fact, as a matter of fact, growing up, a neighbor named Sven Anderson. So I've seen a lot of Svens and a lot of Andersons. Yeah. You're always in the bushes. You don't miss anything. Well, that's good. That's good. And if if you have anything to add, anybody has anything to add that I'm missing, let me know. But we're going to talk about the videos that I did. Now, like I said, some people will say, there'll always be one person, at least one person, that says, oh, it's not Patrick, it's Eric. And then there'll be someone that says, it's not Eric, it's Patrick. It's both of them. I see them both, absolutely both culpable, but both of them, both of them knew better. And both of them, in my opinion, broke the law. And both of them took on that risk. In fact, in my opinion, these are all my opinions, okay? I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not the cops, and I'm not a prosecutor, nothing like that. But in my opinion, I think they both broke the law. We know that they lied to everybody. They conspired and lied and stuck to their lies until they found falling out with themselves, with each other. But if you watch these true crimes, you'll know that if two people go to rob a bank and the one goes in the bank and shoots the teller, the getaway driver is just as guilty, okay? And they will both be charged with murder if somebody dies. And they will both be put on trial and charged with the same thing. Now, the only time when there's a difference is maybe during the sentencing phase. You know, especially if the one that didn't shoot turns on the other one. But there's always, if you plan a crime together, you're both responsible for what happens. Because just like the bank robber should have known, hey, I didn't know he was going to shoot anybody. I didn't know he was going to kill anybody. Well, you should have known that that could happen. And you know what? When Eric and Patrick are conspiring and working together to get to let me think of this. So if Eric and Patrick are conspiring to convince not only the whole world, but Adult Protection Services, APS, they're both trying their hardest to convince them that there's abuse happening in the Whitaker household. And it's an emergency. It's so urgent, it can't wait. And if you both do that, you know that you are running a risk of having that family taken away. Because what did you think was going to happen? And as a matter of fact, do you remember Eric saying that? He said, I told Betty, you know, what if you don't get BJ out of there, and you know, you've already told Adult Protection, you've already told the court that she's dangerous, and then you bring her back on the property, what did you think was going to happen? Right, exactly, Patrick. What did you think was going to happen? If you convince the courts and the police and the Adult Protection, everybody, that Betty, Ray, and Lorraine are in danger, and they're being abused and they're being hurt, and it's life or death and all this stuff, what did you think was going to happen? Duh. They don't take the other people, they take those three. What did you think they were going to do? Put BJ into a nursing home, or BJ, Larry, and Betty into a nursing home, and let, you know, Timmy, Ray, and Lorraine live in the house by themselves? What did you think was going to happen? Oh, Patrick didn't mean to have the family taken away. What did you think was going to happen? You and Patrick and Eric convinced the authorities and the courts and the police and the whole world, Adult Protection, you convinced them that Timmy, Ray, and Lorraine's lives were in danger. What did you think was going to happen? Good grief. Well, I didn't know they were going to be taken away. What did you think was going to happen? Think they're going to put the other three away and leave the vulnerable adults to live on their own? Dumb. Oh, no way, Justin. You got beat up and robbed on my front porch Wednesday night, on my front porch. Really? Did that go live Wednesday night? Is that the night I went live? Yeah, remember. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. And they beat you up? You got beat up and robbed on your own front porch. Wow, Justin, do you live in a dangerous neighborhood, or is this just it's a weird thing, a freak thing? I can't. That's terrible, Justin, that they came right up on in your yard and did that to you. I'm so sorry, Justin. I hope you're okay. I'm just gonna say hi to everybody. Hi to Justin. Uh, let's see, Keldy Legs, Florida Life in the Sun. Let me just go down the row here. Are you okay? And hit the like. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And thank you for the 200 jewels, Justin. Look, he gets robbed and he gives me his jewels. Thank you. Yeah, not my monkeys. Susan, Alicia, dear Jane. Let me see. Glades. Susan, Justin, Benita, Glades. So make sure I get everybody. Red Frog. Am I missing anybody? Let's see, Benita. Nazarene, good to see you tonight. Welcome. Are you back from your vacation? Patrick will be ordered to pay restitution, all the money he owes them to the family. Yeah. Well, thank you, champ. Good to see you tonight. Says thank you for doing live. Well, thank you for coming to the live. I appreciate that. Anyway, I'm so sorry, Justin, that you got robbed like that. It's terrible. Anyway, you should next time have a baseball bat on your front porch. Sometimes they'll throw you off though. They'll say, excuse me, yeah, I'm just trying to find a street. It's over there. Am I in the right neighborhood? Or they'll say, hey man, you got a light? Can I get a light for my cigarette? Whatever it takes to get up close to you. An excuse to come within arm's length. Tampa is rough. I heard some parts of Florida is rough, yes. James, good evening to James. Welcome. Kathleen, good to see you tonight. Yeah, got anything on camera, Justin? Time to get a couple of guard dogs, Justin. Yeah, absolutely. Need a big old German Shepherd. Even a little dog, because a lot of people are scared of little dogs biting them. Heather, can you hit on the time period of the charges Patrick was arrested for? It's all from... Yes, you're right, Susan. So all the charges that we have so far on Patrick that we can see, that's on the court record, is that they have charged him for... I'd have to go back and look, but it was. You know what? It was before June 15th because Eric signed the contract, or he made up that contract somewhere like around June 13th or June 15th. I think they signed it. So if I remember right, you're correct. And I think the charges on Patrick, what they're saying the offenses occurred before June 15th, before Eric came into the picture. A 3-iron works good too. Nice and light. Yeah, there you go. Get a nice golf club. Or a driver. Is Milk here? I got you s'mores. Everyone let Milk grab one first. Oh, wow. I love s'mores. I haven't had s'mores for a long time. I used to make desktop s'mores. You know how you do that? Instead of going out and making a bonfire and stuff, I used to make them right at my desk. Take a graham cracker and put the graham cracker down. Then you take 2 marshmallows or 1 marshmallow, whatever. and you put it on a fork, and you go on the stove, and you roast it on the stove. I have a gas stove, so it's always worked. So you roast on the gas stove on the flame, and once the marshmallow's done, well, actually, what I always used to do is put the graham cracker down, and then you buy those tiny little morsels. They're called. They're tiny chocolate chips, but the extra small. Put a bunch of those tiny chocolate chips on the graham cracker. Then go roast your marshmallow on the stove. Then come back to your desk and put the marshmallows on there, and then put the other graham cracker on top. And those little tiny chocolate chips melt really fast. Let's see here. Hold on a second. I lost some comments. Yeah, Louisville Slugger, exactly. Even an aluminum bat. Aluminum bat's good too. Yeah. Yeah. So is that correct, Susan? Do I have that right? That the charges were on Patrick were before June 15th? Which I think they're leaving the door open for more stuff with at least Eric, if not more stuff for Patrick. I don't know. I just wouldn't want to be in another one of their shoes. And yes, so Patrick should have known better. If you and Eric, listen, if any of us were helping Eric to bring in the adult protection and convince the courts that there's somebody dangerous on the property, we're risking that family being taken away. I hope everybody would know that. Absolutely. Of course, what do you think is going to happen? That family's going to be split up. Now, he thought they were going to just hand over Timmy, and then he just won't look back. But it didn't work out. And that's why he freaked out, because this master plan seemed like it was going. It seemed like his plan was working. He had the Whitakers extracted. They believe they're bullcrap. They got a temporary order, you know. And once the Whitakers were retracted or extracted or dissected or whatever you called it, once the Whitakers were removed, the three of them, Eric thought his plan was all running perfectly like clockwork until they said, record scratch. No, Eric, you're not getting Timmy. Yeah, we've been thinking about it. We've said, no, you're not. And then he's like, what? Life isn't fair. Both should get participation trophy and handcuffs. Yes, participation handcuffs. There you go. Yeah, sorry about that, Justin. It's terrible. Did they trick you to get up close to you enough to rob you? That's usually what happens. Everyone's hoping that Justin is okay. Yeah, a lot of sick people. A lot of sick people. Listening in the bush is very good, Kathleen. That's usually where I am. Time to get a couple of guard dogs. All right, this is about where I left off, I think. It was at 10 p.m. Have a full video. Police downloaded. They know who one is. Looking for second one. Said they are no. In drugs. Racked tailbone. 2 cracked ribs. Keeping my 45 on my porch not. Yeah. Even in your own yard. Wow, you got cracked ribs are horrible. Takes a long time. And every time you breathe, it hurts. Hurts just to breathe. And if you laugh, that really hurts. Yes, I would be packing heat there, Justin. They may as well wrote the contract on napkin. Yeah, but you know what? Even a verbal contract is legally binding. Do you know that? You can even take somebody to court for a verbal contract. Even a verbal contract is You have to honor it. Vanita, I love the way you pronounce my name. You pronounce it perfectly. That don't happen much. Really? That's nice. Thank you. Damn, Justin, it could have been beat up worse. Yeah. Well, thank God they didn't kill you. That's terrible. So sorry, Justin. And you know, you're a senior citizen, so it ups their charges, and I hope they pay the ultimate penalty for whatever they did to you. I've been thinking that if they ever do charge Eric, they may add new charge for Patrick. And the second time, exactly, Susan. That's kind of what I just said too. You're right. And you know what? That did dawn on me too. It dawned on me. It dawned on me that it's like the before Eric got in the picture, those charges are on one court, right? Then they can always do the part where because there's already crimes there, right? Then they can do separate crimes for the time Eric came into the picture with Patrick and forward. You know what I mean? I thought that too. I think we're on the same wavelength on that, Susan. Yes, we used to when we were kids, like roast hot dogs like that. Yeah. My mother-in-law used a candle to roast marshmallows. There you go. Any flame will do. When I was a kid back in the 70s, my family was the first family in the neighborhood that got a microwave oven, right? We had a Amana radar range. But we were the first ones in the area to get a microwave. So people, all of our friends and my brother and sisters and their friends or whatever, my sister and her friends, I should say. But the neighbors, everybody wanted to see how the microwave worked, right? And that thing was dangerous. But anyway, so we used to put a marshmallow in there and turn it on. So we had like bags of marshmallows. So when people wanted to see the microwave work, we could put in a marshmallow and show them how it puffs up. It puffed it up really, really giant, right? Then we would take it out and put it in the freezer, and it would sink. It would turn into like taffy. It was really good. Or we would show them. We had hot dogs too, like packages of hot dogs. So when somebody wanted to see the microwave, how it worked and stuff, we would you could grab a hot dog and show them how the hot dog worked. And it was so powerful that one time I went to Hardee's when I was a kid. That Hardee's been around forever, but I had a hamburger with like tinfoil or something in it. I put it in the microwave to heat it up, and it started on fire. Anyway, marshmallows and hot dogs. That's what marshmallows and hot dogs remind me of. But yeah, people were so amazed at the microwave. Used to make stovetop s'mores too, but now we have electric stove, so microwave melts. Yeah, it does. Goes fast too. Melts it fast. Let's see. Yeah, it is both of them. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think? What did you think was going to happen when you convince all the authorities in the court and the police and adult protection? What do you think is going to happen when you tell them that Timmy, Ray, and Lorraine are in danger? Duh. Of course they're going to get taken away. Susan, sorry, everyone's snagged up to s'mores. You got cappuccino and peanut butter cookies. Oh, she got you. Oh, that's nice. I haven't had peanut butter cookie for a while. I got a recipe. It's got like six ingredients, and it's so easy. It makes like 2 giant rolls of peanut butter dough. Kind of got sick of peanut butter cookies, and my dogs are eating them too. What was the reason Patrick had the packages going to his house? Yeah, you know what the reason is? A really lame one. He said so nobody would know who their next door neighbor, the Whitakers, where they lived. Okay. Number one, Whitakers is on the map. Literally on Google Maps, you could probably type in Whitakers. It'll show you. You can type in their name and their address comes up. So that's stupid. Plus, they're the next door neighbors. So if they know where you live, Patrick, of course they're going to know where Whitakers live. They live next door. So he says, and, they had all summer. They had from May all the way till when the family was taken. They had all summer, spring and summer. They had months to get them a P.O. box, and they did not. No P.O. box. So I think yeah. And remember, I don't know how many of you were there. I was there. And remember what Patrick said? Yeah, you guys, Patrick and Eric were telling everybody not to send anything. Not yet, because we don't want their clean stuff going into a dirty house. So just wait till we get the new house. Don't send them anything. But what they do like is they like gift cards. Yeah, they love Walmart gift cards, Subway, whatever. Yeah, send them gift cards. You can send cash to gift cards on a So instead of sending the family, usable items, people sent basically cash through the mail. Walmart gift cards and whatnot. I would like to know how many of those they got. But yeah, they made up excuses why everything should go to Patrick's. And it's funny because because listen, if they send, Timmy is small. He's like the size of a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? Timmy is very tiny. So of course, if they send a bunch of clothes for Timmy, how's that going to help those guys, right? How's that going to help Patrick or Eric? The clothes, anything or whatever. So they just said, hey, they like Walmart. Send Walmart. You know what I mean? And send Visa. Yeah, I paid $39 for a 3-pound chuck roast today. It's going now with taters, carrots, and a crock pot. So hot here. And prayers to any y'all in Indiana, Ohio. So sad, the flooding. I didn't know there was flooding. I don't have a TV, but yeah, absolutely prayers to anybody that's affected. That's terrible. $39 is terrible for that we have to pay groceries like this. There used to, like when I go to look at steak, a steak, 2 steaks is now, $40. And I remember when you could go into, not that long ago, you could go into a steakhouse and get 2 steak dinners complete, handed to you, cooked and everything for $39. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a lot of money. But anyway, I'm sure it'll be good. That is over $10 a pound, $10.30 a pound, $10.33 a pound. But I hope it's a good one. But meat is so expensive. Awesome, Marshmallow. Just had a box of Mayfield fudge bars full at the moment. Fudge bars sound good too. Oh, Alicia, you're from Ohio? Well, I pray that you stay safe, out of harm's way. It's both of them. It is both of them. So sorry, I've been seeing a horrible situation. I hope we continue to stay safe and well. Amen. Aggravated battery on a senior citizen. Absolutely, Justin. That's good because I know all crimes, the penalties increase. Well, the charges increase when it's on a senior citizen. So Well, I hope they do some time for that. I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you got it on tape and they know who it is. Most of the time, nobody knows who it is. It's not on tape. So good for you, Justin. Ours too. Yeah, you were the first to get a microwave. Did you guys have to show everybody how it works? It was like a circus at our house. Every day, somebody wanted to know how. They wanted to see the microwave work. Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing how fast it cooked. And how much radiation was in that damn thing. You guys, even the because I had to do the scrapyard for the last 10 years for my job. I had to go to the scrapyard all the time, and the junkyard. I mean, the scrapyard and the dump. But anyway, there's a special section for the microwaves now, and some junk scrapyards don't even take them because they're so filled with radiation. It's been 10 years since I've had a microwave in my house. I will not have one in my house. I heat up everything the old-fashioned way, and it's usually better anyway. Plus, microwaves kills all the nutrients in your food, so it's dead. Susan, sorry, everyone snagged up the s'mores. You got cappuccino and coffee. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong spot, ain't I? All right, then snap back. So yours was, yeah. My granddaughter's watching the 2026 version of Knots Landing. Really? I remember that show. Didn't they live like at a cul-de-sac or something? Is it true when the microwave first came out? I thought, yeah, it was a lot of money. It was very expensive. We had a Amana radar range. And that was the first one that came out. It was expensive. Yeah. And then, like, people that saw ours work, they inspired them. They wanted to get one. Ohio, born and raised. My Aunt Mary was the first person I knew with a microwave. Pure magic. Yeah, wasn't it? It was amazing. You're 10 minutes from the flooding? Wow. That's really close. Gremlins in the microwave make a mess. Yeah. Yeah. You wrap a towel around your frozen juice, concentrate, and microwave it to thaw. And one time I caught the towel on fire. Yeah. 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 Oops, sorry. A second. Wait a second. My whole thing just. All right. Let's see. Yeah, VCR waterbeds. Yeah. In fact, I remember after I got married, I was working in a doctor's office, and every other Friday I got paid, and every other Friday I would drive up to the waterbed store and put money down, and I bought a waterbed on installment plans, and it was like buying a car, you know what I mean? And finally, it was paid off and got to bring it home. Yeah, I have. In fact, yes. Hold on a second. I lost my place, but I know what you're saying. I was getting dressed one morning when my son decided to make his own breakfast. He put a Pop-Tart in the microwave for 2 minutes. Man, the whole filled with black smoke and stunk to high heaven. Yeah. Yeah, you could make a roast in 2 minutes in the microwave. Yeah. Microwave toast. The toast was toast. There's video of Patrick walking up, giving Timmy boxes, and they were open. Really? Because I remember the video, a different video, where Patrick had the Whitakers in the vehicle. Timmy and Betty was in the car, and I can't remember who else, in his truck. And Patrick says, "Hey, Betty, I got some boxes up at the house. Some stuff came for you in the mail." She said, really, at your house? And he said, yeah, it's up at my house. He said there was a pair of boots for Timmy, and he's naming off stuff. Naming off stuff like he had opened up the boxes, like, okay. But I remember she was a little, like, confused, like, why are they at your house? Oh, I had them mailed to my house, yeah. See, they thought that, it was going to be easy peasy and nobody would be the wiser. But you had, tens of thousands of people, including me and you guys, watching. And yeah, you can't be doing that. You're 10 minutes from the flooding. That's, I hope the rain slows down or whatever it is. Everyone ate the snacks. You're left with cucumbers. Dip them in chocolate sauce. I'll have a couple. I'm cucumbered out, man. I've got bushels of cucumbers right now. I'm just probably going to throw in the weeds. My stepmom got one of the first microwaves, and we were not allowed to touch it. She went to cooking classes to learn to cook with it. It was huge. They were big in the beginning. Big and metal, and that the door slammed like a jail cell. Yeah. Susan and I had one of those monster-sized microwaves back in the... Yeah, they were all kind of big at the beginning. A Mana radar range, and it had 2 dials on it. I'm 5th generation beef farmer on Vancouver Island. We harvest 13 head organic beef every year. Works out to $2 a pound. Wow. Oh, that is so good, James. We got farmers up here. I got to talk to one of them. I want all my beef coming out of one cow. You know what I mean? Instead of like hundreds. And we have the grass-fed cows up here. All right, so I'm so curious how old everyone is. All old enough to see the first microwave come out. Your sister won't use the mic. Good. You guys is filled with radiation. I would get it out of your house and get that sucker out of there. There's other ways to reheat your food for thousands of years. You just put it in the oven with some tin foil on it, and in a plate that can get hot, or put it in a pan, put it on the stove, because it's killing all anything good in the food anyway. Besides, and as a matter of fact, I told you guys, for 20 years I was an X-ray technician, right? And we had to wear a radiation badge at work, and it measured how much radiation we were exposed to. And every month we had to turn it in. One was Landau. I remember one company was Landau, and the other one was Siemens. We had 2 companies over the 20 years. And anyway, and I was in charge of the badges because I was in charge of the department. And anyway, and I think at first it was every 3 months, if I remember right. But anyway, but then they realized that by 3 months, everybody could be dead with radiation. So they started doing it every 30 days. But anyway, there was a point in time where the company told us not to bring it home anymore, because people's readings were off the chart of radiation. And it was because people were bringing, you clip it to your collar, right? You clip it to your lab coat and you just wear it. And I would wear it home. Everybody just wore it home with your lab coat, right? But when you get home, people would put it near the microwave. They would put it near a television. And a television puts out a lot of radiation too. And so so it didn't make any sense that like 2 of them would be super high and the rest of us were normal because we were around the same machines every day. I had the most exposure to the machine, and mine would be lower than somebody that came in twice a month. You know what I mean? But they realized that the microwaves are leaking so much radiation, the televisions leak radiation too. And so it was given false highs on those badges. So anyway, that's when I realized, dang, that thing really puts out a lot of radiation. And more than my X-ray machine, by the way. Your microwave and the television puts out more radiation than the X-ray machine at my job. I mean, that's a wake-up call. I'm not paying for meat every day. Butter beans, squash, fried potatoes with onions and thick cornbread, and sliced tomatoes and onion for me, and a glass of sweet tea. Well, that sounds pretty healthy, Justin. My mom and I were still using a ringer washer in 2005. She never owned an automatic washer. Well, it is a lot of work, though, that's for sure. I know a lot of people refuse to use microwaves. Yeah, I won't. I won't have anyone. Isn't microwave popcorn toxic? Yes, as a matter of fact, the smoke that it creates is, yeah, it turns microwave popcorn, it can turn into, it's carcinogen. It's a carcinogen. It'll give it. It's cancerous. Yeah, sounds good, Justin. Kathy, I know you get into spirits, Bible, etc. Do you believe people like psychics? Yes, I do. I believe that there's so many fake psychics out there, and there's two. And let me just clarify: a psychic is not necessarily a medium, and vice versa. If you're talking about a medium, yeah, I do believe in mediums, and there's so many fakes, like Long Island Medium and Sylvia Brown and stuff like that. It turned a lot of people off, but there are real ones. But and psychic ability, we all have psychic ability. We all do. My kids were really psychic when they were little, but as they got older, they kind of wore off. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. We're all born psychic, but oh my God, I had a waterbed as a teenager. Yeah. Yeah. Do you believe those who say they are psychic are some of them I do, most of them I don't. But I have been psychic myself. I know there is such a thing, and I so I can recognize the real one from a fake. But there's so many fakes. It makes people not want to believe in it. You know what I mean? Man, I loved my waterbed. I upgraded in the late 80s to a soft-sided one. Loved it. Didn't have to worry about heating up or nothing. Yeah. Yeah, that was in the early 80s when I bought one. And when we took it down one time, when we were moving, my husband and I took the water, we drained it, and then we pulled up the bladder, you know what I mean, the plastic, and the heater had burned a hole in the wood. I don't even know how, but it did. So yeah, this is death traps, man. And you know what? When I had to get rid of it, when I had back surgery, I had a spinal fracture when I was 28 years old, 29, I think. But I had a spinal fracture, and I broke. I had a compression fracture, and L4, L5, S1. I was smashed, and I had to have multiple. Well, I had to have surgeries, and I had to have procedures. So my back was jacked up, and I could no longer sleep in a waterbed. It's so bad for the back. I needed a nice firm mattress. Not too soft, not too hard. Hey, Cheryl. Good to see you tonight. Welcome to Cheryl. You're right, Tina. The real ones are the ones that don't go around advertising. You're never going to see a real psychic on TV. That's a fact. Not that I know. I don't think any psychic, any real ones I know has ever been on a TV show or anything like that. Because the psychics that I know, or I should say mediums, psychic mediums, they work to help people. I mean, their life mission is to help other people with their gift. We all have the gift. You just have to exercise it and work on it, and you could be a psychic too. In fact, there's times where I make myself be a psychic, because if there's something I can't find, I will just go into my psychic trance thing, and I just and then I stand up and start walking, and it'll lead me right to my lost item. It happens all the time. But if I really want to find something bad enough and I'm getting annoyed, I just kind of go into my psychic mode, and I go right to it. So yeah, we're all gonna die sooner or later. James, I have a family that live in Vancouver. Love you too, Marshmallow. Yeah, you're right, Grace. Everyone has psychic abilities. We all do. But you're told from a young child that there's no such thing. It's dumb. You're making up stuff, and then people just give up. Gonna rain another 7 days straight. It's been raining almost daily for 2 weeks. Wow, that's terrible. And here we are in a drought. We just had a little bit of rain a minute ago, but we've been in a drought, and you guys are you're getting too much, and we're not getting enough. That's terrible. Well, I hope more people don't lose their homes and their lives. Cooking with tinfoil is linked to dementia. Yes, you know why? Because tinfoil is a heavy metal, okay? And so heavy metals, your body cannot absorb a heavy metal, all right? Period. And so that's so. If you and I'm going to tell you how people are absorbing heavy metals all the time, and that leads to cancer, and it leads to dementia. Now we never saw the kind of dementia we got today, right? I'm going to tell you how that you are affected. You are probably most people use deodorant with aluminum in it, and the women. And so you put that on your skin, you put the aluminum on your armpits, and your body absorbs aluminum because your skin is the largest organ of the body. And your skin absorbs like a sponge. And to prove this to yourself, if you doubt it, go barefoot, put a clove of garlic in your shoe, and put your foot in your shoe, and walk around with that clove of garlic on your barefoot for a little bit. And within an hour, you're going to taste garlic in your mouth. All right, that's how strong your skin absorbs things. So that's why you shouldn't put anything on your skin that you wouldn't put in your mouth. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, so you rub this aluminum under your armpits, and the women that shave your armpits, I shave mine, then you have open cuts, and then you put the aluminum in there, and so you're absorbing aluminum. And you know what else has heavy metals? Your tinfoil does, yes, your tinfoil. Probably lead in the pipes and all that. That was heavy metals. Now, things that people get injected into, I'm not going to go into it because I gotten too many strikes for talking about this stuff, so I'm not going to go into it. But things that come out of a needle, if you know what I'm talking about, when you're growing up, yeah, those things have heavy metals, mercury and whatnot. And I won't go into that. If you know, you know. But so all these heavy metals, your brain is like a strainer. You know, your brain. No, well, how can I say it? It's like a sponge. It's like a sponge with millions of little holes in it, and those little holes get plugged up with heavy metals, and that's how you get dementia, from the heavy metals. In my opinion, not a doctor. I don't know nothing. Yeah. Yep. James, I have family in Vancouver. So just cut out the heavy metals and you probably won't get dementia, in my opinion. I bought one for my grandparents. They wouldn't use it. They probably felt like it was a computer. Yeah. Good for them, though. Probably added years on their life. Here's the thing. But I don't even want to get into it because I just don't want to get my channel struck. Never mind. All right. Have you read anything on Brian Weiss? I had a psychic incident. I just lost my comments. No, well, actually, you can get deodorant with no aluminum. All right, that's what I get. Suave makes deodorant with aluminum-free deodorant. Start using that, right? Because it's death by 1,000 cuts, okay? You can't stop all the cuts, but you can plug a bunch of them up, okay? Stop ingesting heavy metals. I mean, get that radiation out of your house. Yeah, I mean, quit cooking with Teflon. These are all things, little things that do people in, and you don't know it. You know, all these things. Because hey, if you die, you know, before you're in your 60s, they don't have to pay you Social Security. You know what I mean? Where does all that money go? How about all these people that died premature deaths? Where did all their Social Security money go? Yeah, that's right. Into their pockets, that's where. Not our pockets. Their pockets. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, if you're my age, you remember a lot of first things. Let's see. Yeah. Same with Bluetooth. Okay, I got nothing Bluetooth. I have nothing wireless except my phone. This keyboard here, plugged in with the wire. My mouse, plugged in with the wire. Everything, this microphone, plugged in with the wire. I don't have anything wireless except my cell phone in my house. And my Wi-Fi, I have it on the porch, blocking so it don't hit me. That's it. Yeah, but you can get. They're really good one. I can't remember what it's called. Coconut and jasmine or something. Let's see here. I think the veil is thinner when they are young. Absolutely. The veil is thinner when you're young. And also on your deathbed. It almost disappears. Yeah, the old ringer washers, you can still find them. They're in people's basements that I've had to get rid of them. But they probably still work, you know what I mean? Or card readers, there are a bunch of fakes here, and yeah, there is. Yeah, see, I like the tarot cards, I really do. I think they're accurate, but it depends on the reader. Here, I'm going to tell you, so people think, oh, tarot cards are from the devil. No, they're not. I'm just going to tell you, in the Bible, okay, if you believe in the Bible, okay, the Bible, back in the Bible, they used to cast lots. Okay, so like, okay, so when Judas Iscariot, you know, the one that betrayed Jesus, sold him out for 30 shekels of silver, and gave him the death kiss or whatever. Well, after Jesus died on the cross, Judas Iscariot, he felt guilt, and he went and threw the money back at the people that paid him to go snitch, which was the church, the temple. You know what I mean? But anyway, and then he died. There's two different stories in the Bible, two completely different stories. Nonetheless, he dies, and so there's 11 disciples left, right? And they have to pick another one. And in order to be a disciple, you had to be with Jesus from the very first day of his ministry until he was on the cross. So that was the requirement to be a disciple. So they had to pick amongst these people that had been there the whole time. They had to see everything. And so they had two guys. I can't remember one name, but the other guy was Matthias. So Matthias and the other guy were up to replace Judas, who died. So there'd be 12 disciples again. And so what did they do? They cast lots, okay? And you can cast lots. They can be like dice. It can be a bag full of stones, and you reach in and you grab one. A black one means one thing, a white one means another. It could be drawing a short straw, you know what I mean? Like have 3 straws and have somebody draw one, and whoever draws a short straw. We've all done these things. It could be dropping sticks on the ground in whatever way it faces. There's all kinds of ways to cast lots, and so it's not. And so I remember one quote said, "It's not divination because, yes, the people are the one who are throwing down the items, but God decides which way they land." Right. So you can think about that with the tarot cards too. Yeah, it's the person putting the cards out, but it's God who decides which way they're shuffled and which one comes out. So the part that gets screwed up is the one who's doing the reading. If they don't know what they're doing, you know, the cards can be accurate as possible, but you know what I mean? So anyway, and if people say, oh, you can't do astrology, wait a minute. I think we went over this. The 3 wise men were astrologers and magi, okay? They were magicians, they were astrologers. The astrologers are the ones who followed the star through the whole Middle East to find baby Jesus, okay? Those were astrologers. You know, these are things that your churches are telling you because the church wants to keep you going back to them. Oh, I gotta go ask, get all my answers from the church. I need the church. And then they tell you to pay 10% tithing. No. We went over that too. Yeah, tell them where is that in the Bible. It's not. I know where it comes from, but it's nothing about donating 10% of your income to the church. I believe in some things, like 3 birds crashed into my door the same day. I was very sick 2 days later. Then a large crow stops by for a morning Swiss roll. You know, and you got to really pay attention when it's animals, you guys. When it's animals. And I was thinking about doing, like the other day, a dragonfly was coming. It was buzzing all around me. Dragonfly. So that would make me look up spiritual meaning of a dragonfly. The thing just followed me everywhere. You know what I mean? And that's, of course, transformation and stuff like that. But animals and nature and stuff like that, you really got to pay attention. That means something. And I'm just going to tell you a story. So, before I was widowed, my husband and I had just bought a house, right? We bought a house. Grace knows this story. But my husband and I had just bought a house, our first house together. I had already owned a house, but it was his first. It was our first house together. So we bought this house, and we were so excited. It was the happiest day of my life. I have a picture of that day with me and him outside. My son took the picture. Him and I were outside the house next to the for sale sign, sold, and it was our first house together. We were so excited. We had been renting for so long. And anyway, so like the first day that we were there, my son and his wife and my grandkids, they were all over, and they were running through the house, and it was so fun and exciting. And my husband was on the phone with his brother, and he was telling his brother, "Oh my God, we can't even believe we got this beautiful house." And he was so excited to tell his brother because he had never owned a house. It was his first house. And so he was so proud to tell his older brother because he was always his older brother was very successful and stuff. So he was really excited to tell his brother that, hey, I got a house now. And so when he's on the phone, he's in the living room talking to his brother, and he's so happy. And I'm talking to my son and his wife and the kids and stuff. And all of a sudden, a bat comes flying through the house, right? I think it came from upstairs. And anyway, the bat was flying around the house, swooping at us, and my grandkids are screaming because they're little. And everybody's screaming. The girls are screaming, the kids are screaming, and anyway, it was scary because the thing was like attacking us. And anyway, and my husband said, "Oh man, I gotta get going. I'll tell you later. I gotta get going." And then he hangs up. And so we got this bat in the house, and the bat is swooping at everybody. So, and we didn't have anything. It was an empty house, but we did grab a broom, and they tried to shoo the thing out the door, but it wouldn't go, right? And then anyway, the thing just disappeared. I don't know where it went. I think it went back upstairs. And anyway, that was the first day. And of course, I don't even know what he told his brother when he called him back. But anyway, it was kind of traumatizing, you know what I mean? And then, and anyway, so that night we it was time to go to bed. We were going to sleep our first night in the new house. So we go upstairs to the bedroom, and he had hurt his back really, really bad. And we didn't know yet, but it was his back. He had terminal cancer. We didn't know it. But anyway, his back, he couldn't even walk. So we said, well, that's good. He said, let's get you upstairs. And it was really hot. It was like July 1st or whatever it was. And I said, oh, let me go down and get the air conditioner. We'll put it in this window, okay? So I told him, just go ahead and lay down. I'll take care of it. So I went down, I got the air conditioner, I brought it up, and as I'm putting it in the window, this freaking bat comes out of nowhere again. I don't even know where it came from, but it started like attacking us. And I'm trying to put the air conditioner in the window. And anyway, I shoot him, and he put the covers over his head, and then I don't know, I got scared, and I jumped in bed and put the covers over my head, and anyway, he said, oh my God, and he never told me this. He said, I got to tell you something. I'm deathly afraid of bats. And I never knew that about him. All these years, never knew that about him. He said, I'm really afraid of bats. And anyway, then the bat finally went out the window because I had the screen off. Anyway, finally got rid of the bat. Well, he hurt so bad that we had to go to the emergency room like in the next day or two, right? So we go to the emergency room and find out that he's got cancer, and his entire spine is racked. He's got lung cancer. His spine is actually, there's almost nothing left of his spine. It's racked with cancer. And anyway, and he died. Well, we went through chemo and radiation and all that stuff. He died within 3 months. So it was like within the first couple of days of moving in there, we hadn't even made a first house payment yet, and he gets diagnosed terminal cancer. So anyway, then he gets sick and he's dying in bed, and he goes blind, right? Because he already had retinoblastoma. He was born with retinoblastoma, born with it, cancer in his eyes. And anyway, yeah, he ends up going blind. Like during all that treatment and stuff, he ends up going blind, right? Well, anyway, then he dies, right? Like I think I had maybe made 1 or 2 house payments, and he was gone. And he was only 42 years old. He was younger than me. And anyway, I started getting into spiritual stuff and about like these signs and symbols and the things that just spiritual things. Because I knew he was around me after he died. He was still present. I could feel his presence. He was showing me he was present. His face turned up in a picture that my son took. I mean, that I took of my son. Anyway, he was always really there. So I and that helped, knowing that he wasn't really all the way gone. But anyway, so I started checking into spirituality stuff, and I thought, what is the meaning of a bat flying into your house? I forgot what else it did. Anyway, I looked at the spiritual meaning. Do you know what that meant when they fly? I mean, when a bat flies into your house? And I don't know if it was specifically when you first move in, but if a bat flies in your house and won't get out or something like that, can't remember how I looked it up, but you know what it said? It said that the male head of the household will go blind and die soon. That's exactly what he did. Right after that bat flew in our new house, he went blind and he died. And that was the meaning of the bat flying and whatever the bat did that night. And so I know for a fact, and I'll tell you another thing that happened with a bird. A couple years ago, I was sitting right here. Actually, 2 summers ago, or last summer, 2 summers ago, I was sitting right here, and I hear glass shatter, like a lot of glass. And I turned my head to look out the window here into my porch, and I see glass bouncing off the opposite wall, and I thought a cat just went through the window or something. I didn't know. But I go to look out on the porch, and in a bucket, in a planter in the side of my porch, there is something flopping in it. It was brown. It looked like a squirrel. And I thought, oh my God, my cats are, I thought my cats did something to us. I don't know. Anyway, I run out there, and the poor thing, it's all cut up and it's broken neck and it's flopping in it. And then I prayed to the heavens, if he's going to die, please take him now. He's suffering. And all of a sudden, the thing died. And I'm like, what the hell happened? He went through my window. And you guys, I'm going to show you. I will show you. I'll make a video on it, and I'll show you what the glass looks like. When he went through the glass window, it made a perfect shape of a falcon, and it wasn't, and then a falcon. It was a hawk. It was a hawk that crashed through my window, and it's got a perfect outline of all his feathers, his beak, and everything coming through the window, like on a cartoon. You know, on a cartoon, it has the exact outline of whatever came through the wall. That's what I have, and I have it, and in fact, it's still there. Because I'm getting new windows put in, so I left it there. I just taped it up. But yeah. Anyway, I looked up the meaning of that when a hawk smashes through your window and dies. The meaning was you're about to have a big spiritual awakening. And the more dramatic the thing is that happens with the animal, the bigger the event's going to be. And probably Grace, I don't know, Grace, remember, it was 2 summers ago, maybe it was 3 summers ago. But anyway, at that time, I had a huge spiritual awakening, learned all kinds of stuff, went deep diving into all kinds of spirituality and stuff. And that's when I started connecting with the spirits on the other side. After that thing came through my window, I will show you guys. I'll show you the window and everything. You won't even believe what it looks like. So when something like that happens, look it up. Kathy, you said you would do a live on here after soon. I wish I would have done a live that quick. I do a live on here after soon. I wish I would have done a live on that quick. Are you talking about when you got robbed? Yes, Tina. The doubts that convinced children otherwise, it's right. I wish I would have kept it. She had 3 just in case one broke down. I knew they were she knew they're obsolete. Yeah, she said my clothes were dirty when I started using. Yeah, probably don't do as well as she did. The blackbird is huge and he comes by faithfully every morning, knows when I open the door, grabs the snack, and goes. Yep. Yeah, look into spiritual meanings on that stuff. I believe we're all born with knowledge beyond what can even imagine. That's why we had that dimple under our noses. It's where the angel put her finger and said, shh. Yeah. You know, birthmarks are supposed to be a scar from your previous life. You guys know that? Probably how you, and it could be how you died, a stab wound or something. As we get old, it disappears from our brain. That's right. My sister's long hair got caught in my grandma's ringer washer and ripped out a huge hunk of hair. Oh yeah. Remember the mangler? My mom had a mangler. It was 2 giant rolls that heated up really hot, and she would put our sheets through there and starch them and put them through there. And my stepsister came over one time to visit, and she put her fingers in there, and they got caught in the mangler. I'll never forget that. Yeah, that stuff was dangerous back then. Have you ever read anything by Brian Weiss? No, I had a psychic incident when my sister and I went to see him. Crazy, I haven't had anything like it happen since. Well, maybe that was just to show you that you have it in you. You started buying aluminum-free deodorants a long time ago? Yep. Yep. And instead of using aluminum foil, you guys, to cook on, use parchment paper. Parchment paper. It works pretty much the same. I think I'm much younger than y'all. I've been battling cancer 2 years. I'm unvaccinated child. They never have pressed me getting vaxxed. I use them. Wow. You know, because when cancer first came out, the doctors were baffled. They didn't know what this cancer stuff was. It was like in the 1800s, I think. Maybe 1900s, not that long ago. But they said they never saw a patient with cancer that wasn't, stuck with the needle. That's the one thing they said they all had in common. Lowered the school age limit. Well, that's good. Trumpy lowered the school age requirement. Yeah, because by the time the kid graduates high school, they've had 72 of those shots. And he lowered them down to 11, so that's good. Yeah, and I think that's a lot that has to do with other things that kids are going through right now, too. I won't even get into it. I learned my lesson on YouTube. Yeah, a great team of doctors. They never pressure me. I rarely take medication. That's good. Yeah, prayers from Marshmallow. Amen. Secret has aluminum-free deodorant. Yep. Yeah, most the companies probably all have a brand of it. Now I have to Google my deodorant. Oh, it has aluminum, unless it'll specifically say aluminum-free, and it might cost you $1 or $2 more, but not like you have to buy it every day. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've heard of people that had cancer, and if you don't do everything they say, they don't even want you to be there. Oh, patient's non-compliant. Cut them off. Yeah. Yeah. That money went to people like my mother who lived to be almost 100. Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Some people live to 100. My dad's in his 90s. He's always been very healthy, conscious of what he eats. Doesn't smoke, all that stuff. Cut a lemon, rub it on for deodorant. Works well. Some people use a lime. Yeah, I'm doing really good at work. Own my own, get exercise. Huge support system, but I've learned who's there, who's not. Very precious time. Yeah, that's the one thing when we went to a cancer support group. The first thing they told us on the first day is when you get cancer, expect most of your friends and family to disappear. I don't know why that is. And it did happen. Friends and family just kind of disappear. They told us it's because they don't want to face their own mortality. Seeing you dying scares them. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Hey, Miss January, good to see you tonight. Welcome. I adopted a little kitty, so cute. You want another one? I just lost my spot. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's not like you have to buy it all the time. You know what I mean? It's a little bit extra cost, but no aluminum. It has a bluish color for. Oh, his name is Blue. That's cute. Little Bluey. Yeah. Yeah, have fun with that little baby. It's raining right now. Somebody needs to do an anti-rain dance. Rain, North Carolina, thank the Lord. So you're droughting like us, huh? Why you shouldn't fear moths? I don't fear moths, do I? The only time I don't like a moth is when it's flying near my lamp, because then they land on the lamp and they get burnt. Ever seen the thing like the Shadow? I think they call it the Hat Man. No, but a lot of times spirits will be a shadowy figure out of the corner of your eyes, and then when you go to look, they're gone. Yeah, those are spirits. Yeah, he was flying fast. You had a shadow man wake me up one night. He was at the foot of my bed and stayed there a very long time. Really? I've heard of that. I've definitely heard of it. Yeah, fast as a falcon. Yeah, it was a hawk. Yeah. Yeah. Had it one night in the corner next to my bed. I remember trying to scream. It scared me. Yeah, I've heard people saying that they were sitting on their chest. Couldn't get up or move. Let's see. In the 80s, when my husband and I were living with his mother, she had a breezeway with halls of windows. A pheasant through the window was trapped in there until it wasn't. Scared the crap out of it. Yeah. Birds are scary because they flap a lot. In the name of Jesus Christ, yeah. That pheasant flew out the opposite wall window, 2 broken windows, 1 unharmed bird. Wow. Next day I told him loud and clear he could stay if he wanted, but he could never touch me again or scare me. I guess he left. Because no sense. We did that. Me and my kids did that at my first house. The ghost. We had a ghost in our house. We have several ghosts, spirits in our house. We did the same thing. There was no computers back then or nothing. We just told the ghost, if you're going to stay here, you got to behave. You know what I mean? He didn't poke you. I sat up and looked. There was the foot of my bed. Swear to God. Yep. That happens to a lot of people. I was dead asleep and someone poking at my back. kept happening. Then my brain said, wake up. Someone's poking you. So I whacked my husband and said, what? I'm awake. What do you want? He woke up and told me he was asleep. He didn't poke me. Yeah. I always wondered if other people could see the thing. I hate it when you're so scared nothing comes out. I've had dreams like that when I was a kid. Trying to scream and nothing comes out. She's a mutt cat. Blue Russian. Huh. Really smart. Well, hey, Brooks and Gardens. Good to see you tonight. Welcome. Well, I finally got through the chat. Oh, how long did that take? 85 minutes to get through the chat. Anyway. Yeah, so we've all probably encountered spiritual things, but a lot of people will just try to shrug it off as something else, you know, because that's what we're taught. That is what we're taught. I was my dad's caretaker. I was able to, so I was with him start to finish. It was very hard, but wouldn't have it any other way. He's my angel. That's right. That's very nice. Yep. Yeah, we did hospice, so he was at home. But yeah, 440, God bless you. Yeah, he had cancer, yep. Yep. It is hard. The caretaker job is really hard. It really is. People don't realize it if you're not done it. I had a repetitive dream that I stand on the brakes but can't get my car to stop no matter what. Oh yeah. That probably means sometimes that will mean that you feel like there's something that you're not in control of. You know what I mean? And something in your life is out of your control. Kathy was live a few years ago when I got a call telling me my dad was being sent by helicopter ambulance down to the hospital here. He said he hadn't slept in 2 weeks due to the Hat Man. Oh yeah. Yeah. And when my husband died, the day, I think it was the day he died. The day he died, or the day before he died, he was in a coma, and he woke up from the coma, and I was there, and the nurse was there, and the nurse was like in her 80s or maybe 90. She was so old. She told me she's been doing it 70 years. She's been a hospice nurse 70, so she must have been in her 90s. But me and this old lady nurse are in my bedroom, and he's laying there on his deathbed, and he's in a coma. And he wakes up wide awake, and he starts laughing, and he points up in the corner of the room, and he goes, the Grim Reaper. And then he puts his hand down and passes back out again. And he had a tattoo of a Grim Reaper on his left shoulder. So he knows what the Grim Reaper, and so I asked the nurse, I said, what just happened? Is he hallucinating? And she said, no, he saw the Grim Reaper. I said, that's real? She said, oh yeah. And then he died. And then like 5 years later, my mom was on her bed. She was at home sitting at the kitchen table, and she was smoking a cigarette, and my sister was there. And my mom was on oxygen. She had COPD, and she was, 80, but still smoking cigarettes. And I never told my family that he saw the Grim Reaper, nothing like that. But when my mom died, my dad told me that she saw the Grim Reaper the day before she died. And I said, really? Because I told her my story where he saw the Grim Reaper before he died. I said, well, what happened? He said, well, she was sitting at the table smoking a cigarette with my sister, and he was in the kitchen too. And my mom pointed into the living room because they had a huge A-frame home, a huge home. My mom points into the living room and she said, "There's the Grim Reaper." And my sister looked, she didn't say anything. And she said, "The Grim Reaper," she said, "Yeah." My sister said, "What's he doing?" And he's got his hand out and he's with his fingers saying, "Come here, come here, come here." With her finger, with the Grim Reaper, with his fingers saying, how people curl their fingers, they come here, come here. And they didn't even believe her. And I said, "No, that's true. She did see the Grim Reaper. You guys didn't believe her?" I said, "Goodness, my husband saw the Grim Reaper 5 years ago before he died. I never told anybody. Well, not them anyway." I said, "No, she saw him." And, so yeah, he had it. But he had a tattoo on his left shoulder of a Grim Reaper with a hood and a sickle. I mean, your typical Grim Reaper. Anyway, if you see that, you might want to heads up. Mother had a stroke. I do not want to go that way. Yeah, there's some bad ways to go. Well, there's harder ways to go than others. Thank you. And January, but he's doing great now. Yeah, her dad is doing good. And he's been sick a few times on Grace, and he's still doing good. I have that dream, also dream a lot. My car goes in a large body of water, but I always get out. You can look up the meaning of those dreams. I do. When I have a weird dream, I always look it up. I always look up the meaning of it. But no brakes means, or if you're in a car and somebody else is driving crazy and stuff, it's also a sign that things are out of control. Tina, so sorry. Stroke is one of, if not the most painful things to happen. Grace says that is amazing. I misread it first. Yeah. Yeah, I always look them up. Your dreams, you guys, are important. People should write them down when you wake up. Because actually, I believe, what I've studied, your soul actually, a part of your soul goes out and travels when you're sleeping, because your soul never gets tired, just your body does. And that's why people can do astro traveling, which I don't do or want to do, because it's kind of complicated. I don't know, probably most people don't know about it. There's a silver cord that attaches your soul to your body. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but sometimes that silver cord can break. That's when you die, is when the silver cord breaks. Look into it if you don't know about it. Yeah. So you hope angels come for you? Well, what will happen if you're on your deathbed? Because it kind of depends how you die. From what all of what I've studied. So when you're on your deathbed, you and your soul, you're dying, right? And so the transition is a little different. Like the veil thins and thins and thins, and pretty soon you can see on the other side, right? As you get closer to death, the veil is like it's like a sheet that divides the earth from the heavens, right? And the veil gets thinner sometimes and it gets thicker sometimes. And on Halloween, the veil is thin for everybody. That's why they do the seances. That's why Halloween is Halloween, okay? Because the veil is the thinnest. And there might be another time during the year, but I know for sure Halloween. But when you're dying, the veil thins too, and you can see through the other side. And that's why people, when they're dying, they can see their loved ones on the other side. And the ones that make your soul contract with you are the ones that are going to come forward and welcome you back to the afterlife, right? And that's why you recognize those people and even your animals. You know what I mean? But yeah, it'll be angels, it'll be your loved ones, it'll be all kinds. There's nobody crosses over on their own. But I'm gonna tell you, it is different though. And you're dying and all that other stuff. But it's different. If you die suddenly, it can be different. If you die suddenly, like never see it coming, like hit by a bus, never even saw it, bam, bam. There can be a little bit of confusion. Some people will be like confused, like they don't know they died. I mean, and so that can be some confusion. And there's also, I mean, sometimes it takes people a little bit to figure out that they died. Sometimes it can be days or whatever. But another time there might be some confusion when you die is for the people who don't believe that there's an afterlife, like pure agnostic, or what do they call it? Not atheist, but if you just believe that there's no afterlife at all, and you're like say very cerebral people like scientists and engineers and people who are very scientifically oriented. A lot of times people will not believe that there's an afterlife. So those people, when they die, they can be confused too. They can be very confused because it might take them a little bit of time to realize that they died too. So it depends kind of how you die and what you believe. The crossing over part is what I'm talking about. Grace, do you know what a sleeper cell is? My soul doesn't leave this house. I love my house. It could do that too. Are you gonna haunt that house? Just try to get along with the people that still live there. Or the new people, I should say. Sleeper cells, I think, too. People are trained to actually enter your dream to cause fighting and chaos. Yeah. Y'all, my roast is smelling really good. It's 90 outside, 66 in here. Oh my gosh, the roast does sound. I almost bought a roast the other day, but I bought a steak instead. Your dad and stepdad both died the same way. They both had lung, esophageal, and brain cancer. They both starved to death. My dad weighed roughly 70 pounds when he died. 125, small man. That is weird. They both had the exact same disease and caused death. 131 days till Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Who doesn't like a good roast? And then you get some bakery buns and put it on. Put on a bakery bun with salt and pepper. Oh, it's so good. And then dip it in the au jus. Pack it up. We're heading to Marshmallow's place. Yeah. We're going to make short work of that $30 roast or $40 roast. What did you say it was $39? Yeah. Yeah, that's not. It's still 90 outside? Dang. Yeah. I've seen people actually watering their grass lately. And that's pretty bad. Yeah, it's been so dry here. But anyway, yeah, if people knew, and some don't know how they passed. Yeah. Yep, some don't know how they passed. Yeah, and some don't know they have passed. That's right. Sometimes it takes them a little bit to figure it out. And it's kind of like a movie where, um, like they're among people and nobody sees them and stuff like that. Yeah. Bring pie. All right. I gotta get off and get something to eat. I'm just kidding. I could go for something. If it was daytime, I'd probably fire up the grill because you're making me hungry. You bring the sides. Oh, that sounds good. So good. Yeah, I just made some. Coleslaw. My whole life, I hated coleslaw. Growing up, my mom made it all the time. I hated it. Well, I never really tried it. And I don't know if I did or not. But one time I was at my work sent me to this place to get my CEU credits. I had to go for continuing education, so I had to go to the hospital for a seminar, and they serve lunch, right? And so I'm starving, and they hand out these boxed lunches to everybody. And I can't remember the sandwich. It was something on a croissant, and it was loaded with onions. It was disgusting. And I thought, oh my God. And then I can't remember if it was a cookie or something, but there was some coleslaw. And then anyway, I was so starving. I tried that coleslaw and it was delicious. I loved. Maybe it's just because I was so hungry. But that's the first time in my life I ate coleslaw, and I've been loving it ever since. So anyway, so I eat it for a snack now and stuff. It's so funny because I always thought I hated it. Like about half of my life, I thought I hated it. Do I follow the Farmer's Almanac? No, I don't really. I kind of don't care what the weather is anymore. Are you talking about like as far as farming and stuff, the gardens and the crops and all that? You're preparing fall decorations? Yeah, Afterlife. That's right, Justin. Afterlife. Everybody's going to be there. Miss January says hi to Justin. Yeah. Yep, the Afterlife. Yep. Whether you believe it or not, we're all going. No, like forecast like winter. No, not really. I do believe it's accurate though, for sure. For sure. I just don't really care about the weather anymore. I just know the winters suck. I'm tired of the snow and I'm tired of the winter, but I love it here in the summer. And so, yeah, I kind of used to. You're ready for the fall? I'm not ready yet. I'm still enjoying not having snow. Yeah. Yeah, winters can be brutal, man. So I don't know. I got to get myself another place down south. The West Kentucky, it's so hot. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'd want to go down there in the summer. It's a little too hot. It's just as bad as too cold. You bought 5 pounds of fresh shrimp, Cajun boiled with butter, a lemongrass to dip. Oh yeah, I'm not a shrimp eater, but I know people really like those. You probably would have a lot of takers here. I'll take some of that roast beef, but somebody else can have my shrimp. That sounds really good. 5 pounds sounds like a lot. No, I don't buy it, but it sounds like a good, healthy portion. Heat index was 106. Humid as hell. Oh, that's not good. Grabs roast runs to Florida. Grabs roast runs to Florida. There you go. We, of course, have leftovers. I don't know about feltovers. That's after dinner, right? After dinner, you and your husband have feltovers. 68 in your house? Well, that sounds pretty good. You love shrimp and crab? Not me. Yeah, I never really liked that. They're medium sized. You was going to do a live on After Live. Please do it soon. A live on Afterlife? What does that mean? Oh, on the Afterlife. Oh, on the Afterlife. Yes, I could do that, Justin. This is a good idea. Can we talk about Bigfoot? As long as you're going to roast them and put some barbecue sauce on them. You're making pork chops and gravy for Sunday dinner. I used to like that. And then I ate kosher. I got rid of all the pork off. No pork on my fork. But, man, I used to love pork chops in that Korean mushroom sauce. Yeah. Oh, hey, party people. Good to see you tonight. Say it out loud. Kathy is in Minnesota with many Bigfoot sightings, and I always wanted to ask her if she saw anything on her property. No. But up here, everybody has these wooden cutout things that look like Bigfoot walking. And so when I go down the road, I will see Bigfoot sightings everywhere, but they're wooden Bigfoots. Yeah, people put them in their yards up here. But no, I never saw a real one. I would probably think it's a bear if I saw one. Can't spell lion bed watching UFC. Oh, you are? UFC, huh? Eric and Patrick are the big feet. Yeah, they are Bigfoot. Yep. I live at LBL, Land Between the Lakes, where we have what's called the Beast of LBL. Really? Well, I know different places call him different things. We call him Bigfoot. You have the Beast. I think he's Sasquatch when he's in Canada. I'm not sure. I don't know if there really is a real Bigfoot. I sometimes doubt that. Because why haven't they caught one yet or found a dead one? I mean, and all the pictures are like old, blurry, like on a 1970s film. Everybody's got a cell phone camera now, so I think somebody would have caught one on a picture by now. You had a mountain vacation, North Carolina, 2024. We had Bigfoot activity all weekend. Did you? Like what? I heard they stink. You can smell them a mile away. And then they leave their hair on the branches. That's all I know. That's it. We're squashing at marshmallows. Yoga. Story twist. Eric is the Beast about to be caught. Well, there you go. That's a plot twist. Okay, so you guys, I do want to say something. Somebody, why kosher? Well, during my years of studying the Bible and stuff, I thought, according to the Bible, you're supposed to eat kosher. So I started eating kosher because of the Bible. And then I looked into why people eat kosher and like what is wrong with the foods that we're not supposed to eat. And I realized that, well, number one, I don't really care. I don't eat kosher because of the Bible anymore. What I do is I eat clean animals. So, well, I'll sum it up real quick. So in Leviticus, right? It has Levitican down. I think it's chapter 11, if I remember. In the book of Leviticus, it will tell you the clean foods and unclean foods. And now I don't really eat kosher because I think that God doesn't want me to or whatever, or wants me to. I eat kosher now because when I learned about these animals that the Bible said to stay away from, and I'll tell you real quick. So there's 3 categories. Yes, the hooped. So you got your beast, which is the animals. You got your fish and anything in the sea, and then you got your things, the fowl that flies in the air. All right. And what it comes down to are you don't want to eat a scavenger animal or fish or bird, right? You don't want to eat an animal that eats dead things. It's called scavengers. So when you in the Bible, it will tell you is for the beasts, okay, for the animals, real easy. The animal that you eat has to have a split hoof. Okay, that their feet have to have a hoof and it has to be split, like a camel, like a cow, like a deer. All right, and they have to chew the cud. So they have to eat grass and have a split hoof, and those are the clean animals. All right. So like a pig, it has a split hoof, but it doesn't eat the cud, right? It doesn't chew the cud. It eats anything. So you don't want to eat something that's eating, pardon me, but maggots and dead animals. And then so that's real easy, right? Just ask yourself, does it have a split hoof and does it chew the cud? Does it eat grass? It has to be both. Not all photos are blurry. I should probably look at them again. And as far as the fish, real easy. It has to have scales and fins. All right. Now, a bullhead has fins but no scales, right? A lobster doesn't have fins or scales. I mean, all them other things, they are bottom feeders. So the ones with fins and scales do not eat poop off the bottom of the floor, okay? You don't want to eat a scavenger fish, a scavenger bird, or a scavenger animal. Because imagine you're eating that. That's all that is to it. And as far as the birds, just no scavenger birds. Like no hawks, no eagles. What they say, the eagle, the hawk, the kite, the vulture, the crane. Can't remember. There's certain ones that you just don't eat because, again, they're scavengers. Okay, so you just don't want to eat anything that has lived its life eating other dead animals and poop. That's why I eat clean now. At first it was because of the Bible. Now it's not because of the Bible. Now it's because I don't eat scavenger anything. Anything that scavenged the ocean, anything that scavenged the lake, anything that scavenged the ground or the air. Grace, look up Elliott Kentucky Monster. I don't go out at night. There's police reports on it? Oh my goodness. Y'all remember the movie Harry and the Hendersons? Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yes, no hoot. Yeah, no hoot. Yeah. You're pretty close to boundary. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm pretty close to boundary waters. Just bought pork ribs and chop. Did you? Yeah, but that's okay. Now they say if you take a raw ham, and pour Coca-Cola over it, that worms will come out of the ham. Now, I don't know if that's true. I never tried it, but people on YouTube do it. Yeah. My good friend was just in ICU due to diabetes. She literally was just talking about eating only kosher. Yeah, it's way healthier. Yeah. Not all photos are blurry. Well, I'll have to check into it again. We'll see if we got some new updated photos of the Sasquatch. Yeah. Oh, especially night out. Yeah. I helped my son change the timing belt on his car today. It's so freaking hot today, but we got it done. Well, amen to that. I know I used to work on cars, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Some have a belt and some have a chain. In fact, I just got my timing belt replaced on my Sequoia, and then I parked it for a year. It was like $1,500 to do that, by the way. I had somebody else do it. Tree knocks, whoops, looking in cabin windows. Scared it. Wow. You loved Harry and the Hendersons? I know one y'all are going to have a dream tonight about roast, shut 'em into monsters. You talking about split hoof animals? Yes. Those are the clean ones have a split hoof, and they also have to, eat grass, chew the cud. Anyone know if lettuce is safe yet? I don't know. I thought they had it narrowed down to the shredded lettuce. Now I do love bacon too. All right, pepperonis on a pizza and the bacon is what I missed for years. So I have backslidden onto the bacon. Yes, I think she is. Yes, but not just split hoof. Now you can look. It's in Leviticus chapter 11, if I remember it. You just look up the Levitican diet. Remember I told you the Levitican priests, the Levites, were the ones making the rules, and those are the ones that they had to support, give a tenth of their income. Yeah. You going to hell for eating pork? I don't think so. No. Actually, I don't even believe in hell anymore. Now that I've studied the Bible, I don't believe in hell at all anymore. You ready for a good salad? Vinegar bath? Yep. Put them vegetables through the vinegar bath. That's right. I haven't stopped eating salad. Just make sure you wash it well, yeah. Well, hey, Italian girl. Good to see you tonight. Welcome. Hope you're having a great weekend. Feels like Sunday, but it's Saturday. Yeah, we all go through hell. This is basically the hell. There's no hell, I agree. Yeah. I tell you, it was invented by the church. So you can keep going there and paying them your money and trying to figure out how to avoid something that doesn't exist. Why they ask for a tenth of your income. And by the way, then they tell you that the Old Testament is no longer valid. Okay, then why are you paying 10% to the priest or whatever? None of it makes sense. And if you ever try to question a preacher, they get very offended. No matter how nice you do it. I wonder why people eat catfish. They're bottom feeders. Oh, yes, they are bottom feeders. Remember, they have fins but no scales. You believe there's a hell? I don't. I did my whole life up until like 10 years ago. Catfish is about a lot of people like it, especially in the South. Up here in Minnesota, most people don't eat catfish. Well, good to see you tonight, Time Girl. Yeah, they're bottom feeders. So what they're doing, if you've ever had an aquarium, have you ever had to clean your aquarium? You know how nasty the bottom of that is, right? Do some deep diving into which subject. Did you lose a job, a loved one? You're going through hell. Yeah, that is not a thing. In fact, I can tell you where hell came from. I can tell you exactly when it was invented. It was invented about 300 BC. And I could go into it'd be hours of me talking about this. But it was invented about 300 BC, and they actually, it's a Greco. I'll tell you. You really want to know? It might take me a minute to explain it. I'll tell you where it came from, but I don't know if anybody really wants to know. You said it seemed like it does. It felt like a Sunday. I don't know why. My husband always says this is how. Yeah, we are. Where do you go if you don't believe in heaven or hell? Everybody goes back up to the other side basically everyone goes back to the heavens. You know what I mean? All right, tell you? Okay. All right, I'll tell you. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, so I'll start in the Old Testament. So in the Old Testament, there is no such thing as hell, okay? In the Old Testament, for thousands of years, they believed that there was a place, when you died, you went to Sheol, Sheol. It's called Sheol. And it was just a place in the ground. It was dark, it was cold, it was lonely, and people didn't want to think about it. They called it the grave, they called it Sheol. It's just they thought you just went into the ground and went to sleep forever. Okay, so they thought that for thousands of years. Then in about 300 BC, I could look up the exact date. You could look it up. And somewhere around 300 BC, after the last book of the Old Testament was written about 300 BC, about 300 years before Jesus was born, right? And so what the Jewish people know, the Israelites, the Hebrews, you know what I mean, the Jewish people, what they started realizing is that, you know, they realized that the bad people seem to have lived the best lives. They had the most money. They, it always went good for the evil people, like the bad people, the mean people. And they were thinking, this just is not fair, right? And so it was. So the Israelites, the Jewish people, started trying to rationalize, why is this? How come we follow all these rules and do all this stuff when we got all these requirements and our life is kind of shitty? But the people who do whatever the hell they want and don't care about God, they're living it up. How is this fair? So they started to rationalize to themselves and decided that, okay, our rewards are after we die. Yeah, that's it. Our rewards will come after we die, and their punishment will come after they die. Okay, so don't worry, they're going to get their punishment, but it's after death. Okay, and we're going to get our rewards, but it's after death. Okay, so to rationalize in their mind, well, how can this be fair? Oh, I get it. So then they started believing that, hey, our rewards will be after we die, and their punishment's going to be after we die. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing, right? And then around that time, the Romans took over Israel, right? Anyway, about that time, the Romans took over, Jerusalem and Israel and all that stuff, right? So they're under Roman rule, and this is called the Roman Greco period, right? And it's when basically Israel was being turned into Rome. It was the Roman Greco period. And during the Roman Greco period, the Romans had all kinds of, what you call pagan gods, and they had all these beliefs and stuff. And you guys got to remember, if say Russia comes to America and takes over, right? You know that over the next 300 years, we're all going to be talking like the Russians. We're going to be celebrating Russian. Eventually, it's like when people come to America, within 300 years, yeah, you're celebrating Christmas. You're doing all these things, right? That Americans do. So you kind of adapt, right? Actually, it was before Caesar. Are you talking about Caesar in Jesus' time? Yeah, Caesar. Caesar is actually more Jesus' time, right? Because remember, he had his face on the coin back then. But I don't know, because there's different Herods and different leaders and stuff all the time. Anyway, so they start adapting. are starting to, they're mingling obviously with the Romans, right? And they're speaking Greek. Well, not all of them, but you know what I'm saying. It's just like whenever one culture overtakes another, the people that already live there are going to start adapting, right? And so people started picking up these beliefs, and one of the beliefs was hell, right? And so the afterlife punishment kind of morphed into hell because of the Roman Greco time that in the area that they're in there, right? And so they start believing, everybody starts believing that after life you're going to get judged, you're going to go to one or the other. No, no, and not at the time. It was anyway. So then they come up with something called what do they call them? Like I don't want to say Lucifer because it's not Lucifer. It's not Satan. It's not Lucifer. It's anyway, it's the devil. Okay, so they come up with this devil character that runs the place where the bad people are going to go. So in the New Testament, you will see this creeping in, and all of a sudden you have the Old Testament. There's nothing. 300 years later, in the New Testament, you got hell. Like, where'd this hell come from? Where'd the devil come from? And people call them all the wrong names. Okay, Satan is Hasatan, and we know that Satan in the Old Testament was the angel of God. You know, in the Job story that we just talked about last time. But anyway, so all these new beliefs and start coming in and stuff, and so they pick as they pick the goat god, and the goat god they made him into the devil. Okay, so you just got to remember that you're blending in different cultures and everything, and that's where they came up with this hell. And here, I'll just show you real quick. So the goat god, they call him the goat god. And it's funny because then there's this, the New Testament is completely different than the Old Testament, you guys. There's so many new ideas, and these new ideas are coming out of Rome, okay? Like all these gods, like the devil, like hell. Okay, so in, I think it's Luke, the Gospel of Luke, it's one of the 4 Gospels where the rich man and the poor man, right? And I've told this story before. And the rich man and the poor man live a life, and the poor man is Lazarus, and he sits at the gate of the rich man, hoping to get some scraps of food, right? And the rich man doesn't care at all. And so in the poor man, Lazarus has boils and sores all over him, and the rich man doesn't even care. He doesn't care if he has food. He doesn't care. He's sick, nothing. So then the rich man and the poor man both die, and they both go into the ground. The rich man goes to hell, and Lazarus, the poor man, goes to heaven. But they called it Abraham's bosom, and I'll show you real quick because this is how it morphed. Okay, I'm going to show you how it morphed. It's called Abraham's bosom, and so this is the first that we hear that something's happening after you die. Like, wait, what? So it's Abraham's bosom. All right. So there you got, and when Lazarus was sitting at the gate, he's starving. The rich man don't care. Even the dogs went up, and the dogs licked Lazarus's sores. So the dogs had more compassion on this poor man than the rich man did. The rich man just didn't care. And so when they die, I'm going to show you real quick. I will show you real quick. I'll pull it up. So when they die, this is phase 1. Okay, it is in Luke. Here it is. It's in Luke. I'll show you real quick. And I'm going to show you Abraham's bosom. Oops, sorry. I think I just turned my mic off. All right. So anyway, so they make up this thing where, okay, the rich, because they're trying to tell you that rich people don't go to heaven, right? Then I'll show you real quick. I'll show you what it was. Abraham's bosom, okay? So there's people are burning in hell on one side of it. And on the other side, there's a big chasm. And then on the other side, you have the people. I'll show you real quick. Here it is. Where is it? All right. So you have Abraham's bosom. Here's Sheol, where the dead go. And then so you have Abraham's bosom on one side, and that's where the good people go. The bad people go to Sheol, to the lake of fire, or whatever. It was a bad place, and they don't have any food or water. It's just torment, a place of torment. And so Lazarus comes down. Lazarus comes down into Abraham's bosom. I mean, we all know that Abraham is the forefather of the Israelites, right? So anyway, then it morphs a little more. Okay, now this is in Luke. And that's like I said, it was in Luke. I knew it was one of the Gospels. I'm pretty sure it was Luke. All right, Abraham's bosom is a biblical phrase from the parable of the rich man and Lazarus in Luke 16:22. It describes a place of peace, comfort, intimate fellowship, and afterlife where righteous souls are represented by the beggar Lazarus. Okay, now what happens is the man who is in hell, now they can see over to each other at this time, because then it changed later. But at this time, when this was written, so the people in hell could look over and say, hey, how you doing? And the other ones can say something. You can talk back and forth. There's just a big chasm, so you can't jump back and forth, but you can see the people and they can see you. And so the rich man said, hey, can you tell Lazarus to get a drop of water so you could put it on my tongue? I need a drop of water. And then they said, no. And you were mean to Lazarus, and now you don't get none, right? Basically, right? And so that was that. And then in one of the Gospels, they changed it, and they said, okay, it's not that anymore. And so in one of the Gospels, at least one of them, when Jesus dies on the cross, he goes down into paradise, because it's called paradise underneath. So he goes down into paradise, and he gets all the souls out of paradise, and he brings them up into heaven. And so down in hell expanded, okay? So now hell gets bigger for more people. It's just a bunch of stories, you guys. Anyway, then, because the Romans like their Roman gods, you have Pan, the goat god, and Pan is who you know as the devil, okay? So, goat god, greatest of all time, when they say you're the goat, this is what they're really talking about, right? The phrase goat god, all right, is a god supreme. So his name is Pan, okay? He's an ancient Greek god, Pan. And Pan is the devil, all right? So Pan, the poor Pan, Pan was a goat god, and he was the ancient Greek god that he was. I'm going to read it. The phrase goat god connects to several distinct ideas, including ancient deities or goat like Pan. Okay, now who is Pan? Pan was an ancient Greek god of the wild, shepherds, rustic music, depicted with a man's upper body and a goat's lower legs, horns, and ears, and that's where you get your devil. Okay, now I'll just show you real quick. And so Pan, and Pan likes to do the Humpty Dumpty, right? A lot. And so usually if you see Pan, he's got a gigantic woohoo, right? And so they actually have to cover it. I got to make sure. So if you, okay, so Pan, here's the one with the flute. This is Pan, okay? This is, and he's the one that they turned into the devil, this poor little Pan the goat god. And so Pan gets turned into the devil, okay? Also turns into the Baphomet, right? The Baphomet. So when you see the Baphomet, you know, and I'm going to tell you, remember when Michael Jackson used to say, I'm Pan, I'm Pan. Hey, everybody, I'm Pan. This is what he meant, you guys. This is the Pan that Michael Jackson was talking about. Not Peter Pan, all right? This Pan. And then, so all these myths grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And what the church found out is that, hey, we could make a lot of money off of this because people are so scared to go to this scary place that we made up that they're going to come to us and they're going to give us a tenth of their income. And we're going to keep telling them ways to stay away from going to hell. We're going to make up the rules. You know what I mean? So anyway, that is Pan God. And so when somebody says, oh, Lucifer, no, again, stop already, right? Satan is not Lucifer. Satan is not, and as a matter of fact, Lucifer, if anybody's Lucifer, it is Jesus. Because Lucifer is the morning star. It is Venus, okay? Venus is the morning star. And why they call Lucifer, he's a light bearer, all right? So they actually, in the Bible, they call Jesus the morning star. All right, right here. And so I've told people 100 times, every time I talk about that the Romans wrote the New Testament. They wrote it in Greek, in their own language. They wrote it with their traditions, their laws, their rules. They have no idea what they're talking about. So in classical mythology and astronomy, Lucifer is the ancient Latin name for the morning star, planet Venus, which appears just before the sunrise. Now, if you've ever stayed up all night, and you'll see when the sun starts to come over the horizon, when it's just barely at twilight, right? All the stars disappear, and there's only one star left in the sky in the morning. That is Venus, and that they call it the morning star. Because when the sun, just before sunrise, the stars disappear, and there's one left, and that is Venus. And that's why they call it the morning star. All right, and they actually, in the New Testament, they call Jesus the morning star. So I think it's hilarious that people call, oops, am I still hooked up? All right. That's why I think it's hilarious when people call Jesus the morning star, because the morning star is Lucifer. So Lucifer is not Satan, okay? Lucifer is the morning star. And they call Jesus Lucifer. So they called him the morning star. So anyway, it's been so convoluted and mixed up. People just make up what they want at this point. And so, yeah, it's Greek mythology, you guys. Most of the New Testament is Greek mythology. Now, at one point, like in the book of Enoch, and there's parts in the New Testament, the Old Testament, there are writings that say that Satan rebelled against God. All right, he couldn't take it anymore. God, Satan couldn't take it anymore. And so he rebelled against God, and he took a third of the angels with him. Right? So not only did Satan, the highest, best angel ever, not only did he rebel against God, and by the way, Satan was also a musician. He made beautiful music and all this other stuff. And he was the one sitting above God's throne. Remember the flying wheelchair? So Satan sits above God's throne. Anyway, he had enough. He wanted out. And so he actually took 1/3 of the angels with him because they didn't like it there either. I told you guys, not everybody would like the Bible version of heaven. It's not fun. Anyway, so he supposedly, they came down to earth. They said, hey, let's make a deal, okay? Because I don't want to get in trouble for all you guys. We all have to be in this together. So so Satan says, we got to make a deal. And they went to Mount Hermon. Remember Mount Hermon? Now, this is important because I've talked about Mount Hermon. So you go over there to Mount Hermon. I think it's Mount Hermon. Grace, is it Mount Hermon where they made the deal? I'm pretty sure it was. But so they go to Mount Hermon, all the fallen angels and Satan, and they made this deal. It's one for all and all for one. Either we're all doing this and everybody's going to get in trouble or whatever. So they made a deal. We're in this together. And so they came down to earth and they mated with women, okay? So they had sex with earth women. And then the earth women had these babies, and these babies turned out to be the Nephilim. And the Nephilim were giants, okay? They're like giants, okay? They were giants. Sometimes they say they're like David and Goliath kind. Well, the Goliath was only like, what was he, 9 or 10 feet tall? He wasn't that big. And then other stories in the Bible, this guy's like a half a mile tall, you know what I mean? So anyway, but they made it with these giants. They made it with the women. The women had the giants. The giants were the Nephilim, and that's supposedly why in Genesis 6:6, why God flooded the earth to kill all these Nephilim, demon babies, right? And so anyway, I gotta go back to the comment section because you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah. Why does it show people burning if no hell? What I just showed you is because this is Greek mythology. It's Greek mythology. Why do preachers have almost trained ways to say things? It's why. And if I go in and start asking a preacher things, he's going to be embarrassed because they don't really know a lot, okay? Preachers don't know a lot, most of them. Most of them barely scratch the surface on the Bible. You don't have to know a lot to be a preacher. All right? In fact, there's student preachers that don't know anything. All right? And some are just like grandfathered in or whatever. So you don't really have to know the Bible to be a preacher. And so if you start questioning a preacher, well, wait a minute, what about this, this, and this? They'll get mad. They want you to leave. Because they don't know, and it's embarrassing for them. Because their congregation thinks they're like God's right-hand man, and they know it all. So if you say things that stump them, or say things that they don't even know about in the Bible, it embarrasses them. All flesh was corrupted. Yeah, all flesh was corrupted. That would include the animals, chimeras. Makes one wonder if they had CRISPR tech or something. I don't know. Is Noah's Ark real? I don't think so. No. Now, Noah's Ark, the story of Noah's Ark was actually taken from a Mesopotamian text, which preceded the Bible. Long before that Bible was written, there were texts out that were written from the Mesopotamians, which is the land of Canaan, okay? This is where they are. And so Mesopotamians, for thousands of years, were there, whoever, they were there forever, before the Israelites, before the Hebrews, right? Before the Jews. And they had their own flood story. It's called Gilgamesh, the story of Gilgamesh. And look into it, the story of Gilgamesh. Go side by... In fact, I'll show you right now. So the flood story, they actually took that story from the story of Gilgamesh, okay? And they took some other stories there too. The creation story, that's why there's two creation stories. So right here, I'll show you real quick. Gilgamesh, okay? So Gilgamesh was written long before the Bible. And they are the ones that told the flood story, okay? That's the same story, just different people, different kind of wood for the boat. I mean, I'll show you real quick. The flood story of the Epic of Gilgamesh, that's what you got to read. Epic of Gilgamesh is found on tablet X1, which is 11. It describes how the gods decided to destroy mankind with a massive flood, deluge. The man named Nepotism was warned by the god to build a giant boat to save his family and the animals, and was later granted immortality. It's the same story. And as a matter of fact, it's the same story, guys. Same story, because what did God say? Oh man, all the flesh was corrupt. The angels came down and the angels came down and had sex with the women, and now there's babies, and the babies turned into Nephilim giants, and we just gotta just kill everybody. Now, here, I'll show you real quick. Okay, Genesis 6:6. Well, yeah, I'll just say Genesis 6, because 6:6 is where God said, that's it, I'm going to kill everybody. I've had enough. Right here. I'm going to show you real quick. It's the same. The Gilgamesh flood, found on tablet 11, the Epic of Gilgamesh, in Genesis 6, Noah's flood account in Genesis 6. Can you remember that? Because the number of man is 666. And then he says, get rid of man on 6:6. Noah's flood. Share a striking structural outline, a divine warning. First, God warns everybody and they don't care. Then he has somebody build a boat, a righteous man build a boat. Then he floods the earth and blah, blah, blah. A divine warning, the building of a massive boat, the saving of animals in pairs, testing with birds. And that's another thing. You want me to show you real quick? I'll show you, because I mean, all the details, even down to the birds. Remember, so there's two stories of the flood in the Bible, two different stories. They took the southern tribe story and they took the northern tribe story, and they put them both in there instead of picking one. But nonetheless, so there's different birds, but it's the same story. Once the earth flooded and they're just floating on water, they're waiting for the flood to recede so they can go back to dry land. And so what Noah does is sends out a bird, okay? It was either a dove or a crow, it depends on the story. But he sends this bird out, and that's why you see the picture of the dove with the olive branch in its mouth, because they were sending the bird out. And if the bird landed on something, then they know. If the bird didn't come back, then there's probably land. But if the bird flies and has to come back, there's no land. So they were sending the bird out to test, to see if there's any land. And that was in their story too. All right, and then remember, finally the bird came back and had an olive branch in its mouth. That means that it landed. All right, so in Genesis 6, striking structural outline, divine warning, the building of a massive boat, the saving of animals in pairs, testing with the birds, and the final mountain landing, though they differ sharply in theology and scale. It's just a different God, okay, and a different scale. So the core plot, supreme deity, which is God, decides to destroy humanity with a global flood, but chose one righteous man. All right, so in Gilgamesh, it is Utnapishtim, or whatever his name is. And in the Bible, he's Noah. And they pick this person to build a multi-level vessel to preserve life. Now, in the Bible, they said God told Noah to build it out of gopher wood. Well, there is no gopher wood in over there, all right, where the boat was built. So anyway, there's some major flaws in the Bible, that story. So he chose one man, a righteous man. Each story, there's a righteous man to build a multi-level vessel to preserve life. Now, both heroes bring animals, both Noah and the other guy, Gilgamesh's guy, and they seal both their boats with pitch. Remember, God told Noah to, once the boat was done, to seal it on the inside and out with pitch from the trees, right? Tar. So both sealed with pitch, bitumen, release the birds, the dove, the swallow, and the raven, see, to test for receding water and offer a post-flood surface upon landing. Both traditions place a final resting place of Noah's Ark on a mountainous region in the Middle East. In Gilgamesh story, it is Mount Nisr, and in Genesis, it is Mount Ararat, which is in Turkey. And by the way, now people think, oh, well, they found Noah's Ark. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Here, I'll show you. No, they didn't. Did they find Noah's Ark in Turkey? Well, that one guy, no, he didn't. They didn't. It was just that. In fact, all these, they keep coming out with this proof of and I used to believe this stuff, you guys. I used to believe it hook, line, and sinker. But no, they didn't find Noah's Ark in Turkey. Modern day Turkey or whatever. So, here, I'll show you real quick. So, Turkey. Here, I'll show you real quick. So, in Turkey, there is, come on. Dang it, Bill. So, in Turkey, there is a place like this that they said is Noah's Ark, right? Ron Wyatt, okay? Ron Wyatt ended up to be a fraud. All right, Ron Wyatt is the one that supposedly found it, but it wasn't Noah's Ark at all. They did ground penetrating tests. They did all this stuff, and it turned out to be a fraud. Then they found out the guy wasn't an archaeologist at all. He was an anesthesia nurse. He was a nurse. But I'll show you real quick why. Okay, so there's places like this over in Turkey. Oh, there it is. There it is. No, there it is not. All right. Because what this is, if you back out, if you go on, here's Turkey. All right. If you go on Google Earth and you look at that spot over in Turkey and you back out, you look and you're going to see a shitload of these things. They're all over the place. All right. They're all over the place. They're all over that area, and they're just formations, mountainous formations. There's no wood, there's no nails, there's no nothing, and the dimensions aren't even right. And then they did ground penetrating radar. See, but they keep pushing this story. It's been disproved a long time ago. Ron Wyatt was proved to be a liar, and all his stuff was bogus. But people want to believe it. You know, what are you going to do? And please don't ever feel like you need to believe anything. Yeah, you don't have to believe anything I do. In fact, I encourage you to do your own study, and that's what I did. I used to believe everything. But I don't anymore because I did my own story checking and anyway. So yeah, so no, hell is not real. It was developed over time, the story about hell. Oh, you're having a yard sale? Monkeys having a yard sale? Not my monkeys? Garage sale this weekend? Yeah, that's a lot of work. Took me 2 months to set mine up. It was in my giant pole barn out there. I think I've had 2 or 3. I can't remember if I had 2 or 3. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, if you are somebody, no matter where you are back then, okay, there's no computers, there's no helicopters, there's no airplanes, nothing. All right. You might think the whole world got flooded, okay? So because as far as you can see, it's flooded. But you could go anywhere that there's flooding and sit there and you would think, wow, the whole earth got flooded. The whole earth did not get flooded. If there was a flood over there in the Middle East, it would have spilled out probably from the Mediterranean, and it would have seemed like it was the whole world, right? But they don't know what's going on in the next county, let alone the next country. They didn't know what was going on. They thought, just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, they had sex with their dad and got pregnant from their dad because they thought the whole world got destroyed. Just because your area gets destroyed, doesn't mean the whole world did. But they're assuming that. They're also assuming the whole world got flooded too, and it didn't. You never made it to bed, now you're cleaning the bathroom? Yeah. You should do church lives. I'm really interested. I'm not sure I'm following. Well, I could do a whole church live. And that way people who are interested could be there and people who aren't interested could not be there. Because not everybody's interested, so. When I bought a Bible, I bought the giant print. You can buy a giant print Bible. Not a large print, a giant print. And you can actually see it without a microscope. Yeah. Yeah. My night got to. Oh, I hope I didn't help derail your night. Anyway, well, we could do a whole session on that. We could do a whole live stream on that. Yeah, I took a little nap earlier, but it was only 30 minutes, so. I worked in the yard all day today, and I was so freaking tired. And then, you know what? I made a video that says I'm going live at 9 o'clock, and I never hit enter, so it didn't post. I got up at 8:30, and I looked and thought, dang, I never posted that thing. So, yeah, it was supposed to give you a 2-hour notice, but it didn't. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could maybe do Sunday nights, could be a Bible thing, or Wednesday night or something. Stick with the Lutheran schedule. I just have to go to church, Sunday school, and confirmation on Wednesdays. And you know what? I never really learned anything until I went full-time studying it. You'd love that? Yeah, I could do that. Whatever night works for you guys, we could set a night aside. Ask me anything you want. I'll tell you more than you want to know. Anyway. All right, how am I doing on battery? Not bad. I could probably wrap this up. So, yeah. Yep, everyone has your own opinions, and I prefer that. Have your own beliefs, make your own decisions. You decide yourself. Just like I trust you guys can decide what channels you want to watch. I don't have to tell you what channels you should watch. I also don't have to tell you what you should believe or anything like that. Oh, messed up Bible stories for Monkey. I kept looking, so I took a nap. Jacked up Bible stories? Anyway, we could do jacked up Bible stories too. They're pretty much all jacked up. There's a couple good stories. I'd have to think what they are, but there are some. I kept looking, so I took a nap. Yeah, you did too? Wednesday, not good for me. I'll be... This coming Wednesday? Do you have a prep coming up for an exam? That's the only reason I know that somebody would already know that on Wednesday they're going to be shitting. If you've got a planned prep or something. Taco Bell? Are you having Taco Bell on Wednesday? Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, a prep for Thursday morning. Yeah, those are brutal, man. Those are brutal. You know, I haven't done that in a couple of decades probably. But the prep is that's brutal, man. They make you drink like a gallon of this salty water. I don't know what they do now. Now I heard that they just give you, it's like a glass bottle of lemony water or something. I don't even know. But you used to have to drink like a gallon of some salty water or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on those. Listen, I don't go to the doctor unless there's something wrong. I mean, you're not going to wipe out my entire immune system, microbiotics out of my entire intestines. Just to see if there's something wrong. And then what they do, they'll see a little something. They'll say, oh, we had to biopsy. We clipped this and we clipped that. Well, okay, now that you wiped out all my natural immunity in my colon with this prep, now you're poking holes in it. And then a year from now, you're going to say, oh my, look how they've grown. Well, yeah, duh. It will be your third one. Yeah, I avoid those now. Nope. Unless you got problems. Otherwise, personally, if I had problems, I'd have one. What are you doing tomorrow? Shitting. What are you doing on Wednesday? I'll be shitting. Yeah, that is something, though. That is something. Poop in the box is easy. In the box? There's a box now? Poop in the box. Are you talking about the Hemoccult test? Yeah, you know what that's called? Occult blood stool test. Occult, OCCULT. I used to work in a lab and I used to do those all day on people. And yeah. Occult just means hidden. So if somebody is in the occult, that just means it's hidden. Occult means hidden. So they give you an occult blood test. Still have a gallon of something to mix. It came with lemon flavor packet. A litter box? Put in a litter box. Well, things have changed since I worked there. They have you poop in a litter box? Yeah, things have gotten different. Another 5 years, but my liver enzyme is not good, so they can't figure it out. Yeah. Cold guard box, you get in the mail, you poop and send it back. Oh, well, I don't know about that. When I used to work in the lab, it was a little piece of cardboard, and you popped open two windows, and you had like a popsicle stick, and you just kind of smeared on there. And some people would go like way overboard. Then they drop them off to us, right? And they go, like, what in the hell do these people do? You had a stool test? Yeah. That shows the hidden blood. You know what I mean? And if you see bright red blood, that's almost at the exit door. You know what I mean? Bright red is at the exit door. If it's black or tawny, that means it's up inside you. So I wouldn't worry as bad if only if you're a furry. Yeah, I know somebody that's a furry on YouTube. Weirdo. No offense to furries. But this guy is weird, man. He thinks he's a freaking animal. And I did a video one time, and I got a strike. I think I told you guys that. I did when furries first came out. I did a video, and I got a strike for bullying. Hey, you better pipe down over there, mister. Yeah. So anyway, That's just a shitty subject. Oh man. Oh boy. You work in a doctor's office, you see it all. You know what I mean? I've seen it all. It could be medication you're taking. Yeah, the liver enzymes, absolutely, if you're taking anything. It's all chain reaction, you know what I mean? I did the new drink, 2 large cups, it was still bad. Yeah, so they do have a new thing that I heard, and it's like you don't have to have a gallon yet. It's like more concentrated, so I don't know. I'll pass. It's a whole kit with a plastic seat cover, box of poop, and 2 vials mix. Take it to the UPS store. There's commercials. All, really? I never heard of that. I never heard of that. But they would take the popsicle stick and they'd put it on the cardboard, and then they'd close the windows back on it and then give it to us. And I'm thinking, dang, didn't tell you to put a tablespoon on there. Yeah, go ahead and laugh at me. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Yeah. Well, I don't know about the box thing. Yeah, but I feel bad for anybody who's got to do that prep because I just remember it was torture. I think I was in my 30s or something. You just had a colonoscopy. It wasn't so bad. Yeah. No, the test itself. I just don't want somebody wiping out my natural flora, the thing that's keeping my intestines healthy, and wiping that out, and then poking holes with all these. They found 3 polyps that would have turned to cancer and removed them. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to believe anymore. I wouldn't work in the doctor's office anymore. Believe me, I've thought about. In fact, X-ray techs now make like $50 an hour or something like that. I would be making. I mean, I made good money, but I am not getting back into that medical stuff. And I'm really glad I wasn't there during COVID because I probably would have quit. I keep telling doctors it's a family inherited disease that I have, but they're stupid to it, so they blow me off. Well, sometimes you need to go to a specialist or something, You go to a family practice doctor, they don't know it all, you know what I mean? That's not bad, but the prep, yeah, no pun intended, but the prep is pretty shitty. The test isn't bad because they drug you. I mean, you're so drugged, you don't even know nothing. I just did the Marriott cancer DNA test. My insurance covered it too. Huh. My husband's so funny. When I went back to see him after this, when he saw me playing around, said, "Who are you?" The nurse looked so funny. Yeah. You don't really realize how jacked up you are when you've had anesthesia and stuff, but you are. I had a colonoscopy when I was 17, and afterwards the doctor started kissing me. I was so grossed out. That's really weird. Brooks, me too. Yeah. Well, I believe, yeah, you could have things run in the family, but you and your family are. I think it's more. I personally don't believe things are really that hereditary. I mean, some things, yeah. My husband died of a hereditary disease, retinoblastoma. He came from a family that was blind. A bunch of them had it. So yeah, but there are some things that I don't believe are inherited, and that would be like families. Everybody in the family is fat. Now the little kids are fat. No, that's not maybe that could also be a environmental thing. I mean, and so obesity, they might all be obese because of what they're eating, right? Or their lifestyle, sedentary, and all that other stuff. Too much sugar, whatever. Some people could get diabetes, right? Diabetes type 2, I'm talking about. The kind that you develop as, later as an adult. Genetic. So, yes, sometimes you can have a whole family that's got diabetes. The mom, the dad, and the grown children, but that might be because of their diet. You know what I mean? Mom and dad got diabetes because they're drinking 12 packs of pop every day and all this other stuff, eating sugar, and not being active. And you'd say, oh wow, it must run in the family. Well, sometimes it runs in the family, and sometimes it's because you guys are all doing the same thing. I have Fabry. It's an X chromosome mutation. Yeah, that's different. Yep. Adult onset. Yeah. I was recently diagnosed with a condition called punctate keratoderma. They said no cure. Okay, carrot comes from keratin. A lot of times it's your skin will be orange, right? Which from the carrot color. Keratin and derma means skin. So is it orange skin? Diabetes runs in the men in my family. Well, Grace, that's gross. What's gross? Adult onset. Yeah, so, sometimes a family can have the same disease because they're born with it, and sometimes it's because of what they're eating and their lifestyles and stuff. So, but yeah, so yeah, in his family, the retinoblastoma ran in the family, right? So there's nothing they did to mutate it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So there's just some things that there's nothing you can do about it except treat the symptoms. You know what I mean? If it's not curable, then they just treat the symptoms. Anyway, yeah, I feel bad for people born with stuff. And, I always told my husband, I said, I feel bad for you because you're such a little kid. You're a baby and you're having surgery on your eyes. And, I saw a picture of him when he's like 12 years old. And anyway, I said, I feel bad that you had to spend a lot of your childhood in the hospital. And he said, no, don't feel bad. He was always like that. He said, don't feel bad. I had fun in the hospital when I was growing up. And I said, you had fun? How was being in the hospital fun? He said, well, when it was Christmas time, Santa Claus came and gave us all presents, and we got to see Santa Claus. And he said, then he was there one time on New Year's, and the nurses let all the kids in the cancer ward stay up till midnight and celebrate New Year's Eve. And so I just thought, that was him. He was like an angel. He always saw the good in everybody and everything. It's just like, yeah, sure, I was a little kid in the cancer ward growing up, but hey, we had Santa Claus. We got to stay up late for. Anyway, he always like found the bright side of everything. No, it's like 300 wart-like things on each of my feet, and my hands are getting them too. Yeah, I've never known anybody with that. I'm sorry to hear that. Hope they can do something to help you and make it, make it tolerable. My cousin had breast cancer, double mastectomy. So did DNA to see if it's possible on our maternal side. Oh, you did that to see if the gene? Yeah, again, if if a lot of people in the family had that exact same thing, it might run in the family. But if only one person has it and it's a cousin, it might not be genetic. It's hard to tell. My brother's having heart surgery with a valve and a heart aneurysm, so I've been a bit torn up about this. Your brother's having heart surgery. Your brother have what does your brother have? The same thing? I think you are right. Most things wrong with our body is how we eat. The government don't care what they put in our food. No, and especially in the United States. United States, they don't care what you put in the food. The FDA is a joke. As a matter of fact, you go to other countries, you can't buy green Mountain Dew. You can't. There's a lot of stuff other countries don't sell. They don't sell drinks with fluoride in it. Heavy metal. That's another thing about, remember earlier I said about the heavy metals? Fluoride, okay? Fluoride is a heavy metal. It's in all the drinking things in the United States. If they sell it to drink, it has to have fluoride. Grace says, Florida, sorry, is your brother close by? Can you be there? Your brother's having heart surgery with a valve and heart aneurysm, so I've been a bit torn up about that. Wow. You know what? That just happened to my friend Wednesday. Her mom just had a heart attack with an aneurysm in it. She's on life support. It was weird because Wednesday we went to the casino, me and my friend, to go eat, right? We went to go into the restaurant at the casino, and then we thought, let's just throw a 20 in the machine, right? So always when we go through the casino, she always talks about her mom, because her mom is a really heavy gambler, right? Always been a heavy gambler. So we're just joking about her mom. She always, whenever we're in the casino, she always tells her mom stories about the casino. And when we left the casino, she went home and she got a hold of me and she said, my mom's in the hospital. She's had a heart attack, like an aneurysm in her heart blew up, and she's on life support. I said, oh my gosh, we were just talking about her. So since Wednesday, she's on life support. I don't think she's going to make it. But anyway, I should have turned that off, shouldn't I? Anyway, prayers for your brother. Prayers for your brother, Florida. I'm so sorry. I hope it turns out good for him. But if they think that they can repair it, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. If he's having surgery to repair, because they're not even operating on her mother. But yeah, if they're planning on having surgery on him, that's a good sign, because yeah, she's not even operated on. So they must have some some good hopes and prognosis for your brother. But yeah, prayers for Florida's brother. Yeah, and you too. And you too. My mother passed it on to me and two brothers. She lived to be 97 years old. She was doing something right, but my brother passed when he was 71. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, because once you get sick and stuff, oh my gosh. It's just so sad. Yeah, Florida, when is his surgery? Yeah, prayers for Huckleberry and her family. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah. Yeah, well, pray that God guides the surgeon's hands. His aneurysm is small. He's had that for a few years. They just washed it now. but it's his valve, so they will just do. Oh, nice, yeah, yeah. You won't have to worry about that aneurysm. Oh yeah. And the valves that they're doing really good work now on that heart stuff like that. And when people have that heart surgery and the valves and the stents put in and all that stuff, I've heard every single person say, wow, I can breathe now, I can walk again. I mean, so people have a lot of good results with those surgeries, heart surgeries. People are like day and night, you know what I mean, come out feeling way better. Not sure yet. He just had a stress test first. Yeah, they have to do that, make sure that he can tolerate surgery. You know, well, you keep us posted. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Maybe I'll wrap up. I'm at 3 hours. I should probably get off of here. Dang, they don't make you run on treadmill for stress test. They give you meds to make your heart race. He was having a panic attack. Oh, you're kidding. It's like artificial stress? So instead of working your heart up on the treadmill, they just give you medicine that speeds your heart up? That would be scary because you're just sitting still and your heart's going like you're running. That would be scary. I used to have panic attacks when I was younger. I was on medication for it. And I think, looking back, I think the medication was kind of causing the panic attacks. He was on dialysis for 2 years before he died, and I have that solo kidney from my childhood merry-go-round accident. So far, kidney is good. Oh, that's right. You had a playground accident, and you lost a kidney from it. Oh, they say you can live a healthy life with one kidney if it's a good one. Yeah, that would be scary, Florida. That would freak me the hell out. Just be sitting still and all of a sudden your heart goes crazy. It's our anniversary. My brother got back 14. I got my brother back 14 years ago, 14 years sober today. Well, congratulations to your brother. Many, many, many decades more. Congratulations to your brother, Grace. Yeah, that would be scary. I wouldn't want to go through that. That medical stuff is rough. Yeah, that's scary. All right. Well, I will say, yeah, congratulations to the sobriety. All right. Well, I'll wrap it up and say goodnight to everybody. I see some people are ready to check out too. Anyway, thanks for the gathering here for the live stream. It was fun, and yeah, we'll just see what happens, I guess. As far as, and you know what, Eric Carroll's been very quiet, and now Patrick is quiet again. We'll see. We'll see if they have anything to say about anything. I will keep you posted. Big hugs to Florida. Big hugs to Not My Monkeys. Big hugs to everybody. All right. Well, thanks for coming in, everybody. I appreciate it. A love and light to everybody. Yep. Good night to everybody. Peace, love, harmony, all that good stuff. Hope to see you tomorrow night. I think I'll be live tomorrow night too. If something doesn't come up, I should be live tomorrow night too. Anyway, good night, everybody, and peace.